You might come to me yelling, "What is this the best weapon thing you talk about? There is no such thing!" And yes, you're correct there, at least from objective standpoint, but I figured it could be fun to compare and analyze every weapon in the game according to my own arbitrary rule set. Now, what is the best weapon in Elite Dangerous? Best being the weapon that will make enemies crave for soothing ass cream the most, after some not so gentle butt fucking. Get your edicts ready and let's start by humiliating those micro dicks of the weapon world. First bunch of weapons I throw in the garbage right away would be any weapon you get from power play. Yes, you might love those pack-ons or rails, but you have to first commit yourself to that one power for a whole month. In gamer terms, this is like having blue balls for 4 years, while you stalk nudist chicks. Yeah, sure, one day you'll go grab one, but at that point your testes would have given up and exploded from tension long before that. Next bunch of weapons I exclude are the ones that barely have any combat implications or longevity. In this instance, it's the mining laser that be a weapon equivalent of a micro penis. Sure, it can get the job done, but perform it cannot. And then there's also torpedoes that have huge ship-penetrating capabilities. Yet every commander knows that it's a 2-pump chump. And finally, mine launcher, good for defense and some weird bomber runs, but that's not really reliable. Something like a broken condom. As I move on to the rest of the arsenal, at least these we can call adequate weapons. Though missiles being better version of torpedoes can provide you with some fun times. Skip 10 minutes in the act and you are out of ammo. So you sit there like an exceptional individual sucking your own thumb and saying, "Mommy still loves me, Mommy still loves me." Oh, and then there's my favorite tool of trade, the whip. I mean railgun. A quick and sharp thrust up someone's thrusters will make anyone jump. But the charge up time and immense heat makes it a rather poor choice for repeated use. Come to think of it, Plasma Accelerator is the same way. A nice and huge fleshy toy to have that enriches the act, but on solo it just makes the whole thing devolve into silly slap fight. And speaking of huge loads, frag cannons surely are not to be left out. Up close it's menacing, but take a step back and all you get is a light spray of piss damage. Okay then, now we're left with some decent weapons, though I have to exclude cannons from this before we move on. See, much like with Plasma Accelerator, it's an impressive dong, but once it's active all the important juices flow to it, leaving your brain drained. Well, at least that's the case with Accelerator. With Cannon, you're just swinging around hoping to hit anything, and even when you do, if the target's wearing protection, you are shit out of luck of getting through most of the time. And so we finally come to the real meat. So let's see which meat can beat the most. I'll start with the worst of these, beams. It's like making 10 thrusts a second. Sure, there's pleasure involved, but in just few moments you're out of breath and starting to wonder, what's burning? The next are pulses. Everything it has is average. Enough said, I guess. And finally, before we get to the best weapon in the game, we have bursts. A proper tool for fun times. Instead of being constantly on like a school kid, you should know when to ease up and when to go full blast. Fun times for all the family. Wait, what? Seriously, with all these metaphors and innuendos, people will think that I'm implying pedo-incest now. The only thing that I'm missing at this point would be necrophilia. Then again, you can use healing beams for that, I guess. Anyways, the winner in my book are multi-cannons. Just like lasers, it has every gun port covered, and it has all the modes. Fixed, gimbaled, and turreted. See, bursts are hit scan and doesn't require ammo, but the main reason why multi-cannons are better is damage and less power used and consumed while equipped and shot. Oh, and as an added bonus, engineering gives multi-cannons the best flexibility. So much so that you would start to wonder if this is not the most OP weapon in the game. Still, nothing can beat bots with railguns. Seriously, fuck them. When it comes to PvE, I highly recommend to go with lasers for their longevity. And multi-cannons plus supporting weapons on PvP. By support I mean any weapon, really, it depends on your playstyle. Right, so I know that people will shout about there not being one best weapon. And I agree, but as stated in the beginning, this was just for the fun of it. So let me know what you thought and maybe argue why torpedoes are the best in the game, if you really want your life to be this delusional. Till then, I'll see you in the space playing hide the sausage with your enemies.